Welcome back. Let's take a look at what's happening in the property market this weekend. Sydney will have 758 auctions with another 152 auctions around New South Wales. Melbourne will have 663 auctions with another 38 around the state. Brisbane will have 154 auctions with another 157 around Queensland. Adelaide will have 193 auctions and Canberra will have 88. On to the most viewed properties going to auction this weekend, and coming in top spot is 325 Chestnut Street, Carnegie in Victoria. It has 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms and a 2-car garage. Price guide is $1 to $1.1 million. In second is 421 Herbert Street, St Kilda, also in Victoria. This one's a townhouse with 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms and 1 car space. It's located opposite the St Kilda Botanical Gardens, has a price guide of $850,000 to $880,000. Next is 59 Williams Road, Coburg North in Victoria, which has 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2 car spaces. Sits on about 528 square metres. It's a weatherboard home that needs some love, but has an affordable price guide of $580,000 to $620,000. Next on the list is 41 Richmond Avenue, Colonel Light Gardens in South Australia, sitting on 715 square metres. It's a renovated bungalow that offers 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms and 4 car spaces. Has a price guide of $1.3 to $1.4 million. And lastly, we have 4 Collet Street, Kensington, also in Victoria. It's an inner city terrace house with 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and it's priced at between $720,000 to $770,000. And we're seeing it on the screen now. This is this week's top listing. It's the perfect example for buyers looking to buy a lifestyle property in Tasmania. It's 274 Acton Drive, Acton Park in Tasmania. It has 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 12 car spaces and sits on a massive 22 acres. The property's located on top of a mountain which offers views, you can see them here, of Hobart CBD in one direction and views of 7 Mile Beach in the other. From other parts of the property, you can even see Bruny Island and the Tasman Peninsula. It features floor-to-ceiling double-glazed windows throughout, custom steel frames and large timber feature pillars inside. House also has dedicated exercise and study rooms. It also features a sun deck, outdoor barbecue and entertaining area, and 124 square metres of garage space. That's pretty much the same size as a small apartment. The best part, it's only 15 minutes from Hobart's CBD. Has a price guide of $3.8 million. Let's bring in our next guest, Anne Flaherty, economist at REA Group. And thanks for your time today. Let's start with this weekend's auctions. And look, I've actually just noticed that Sydney has overtaken Melbourne for the first time in I don't know how long.
Yeah, it's pretty unusual. Melbourne normally has the most auctions around the country. In general, though, we are seeing fewer auctions than we were seeing a few weeks and a few months ago. It's not really surprising. We generally see the number of auctions cool over winter, but we are actually still up a little bit from last year's levels.
Yeah, look, we've also noticed auction clearance rates have been starting to fall over the last couple of weeks. Is that a trend you're expecting is going to continue throughout winter?
We do expect to see that. We've definitely transitioned into a market where we've got, more properties coming up for sale relative to the number of buyers than we had seen. This is really good news for buyers because it means that there's more choice out there at the moment.
And look, today, I know REA Group's Prop Track Home Price Index for June has just been released. And what's happened to property prices across Australia during the month of June?
Yeah, rising interest rates are definitely impacting property prices. We've seen the second consecutive month of declines across Australia. So Melbourne and Sydney, where property is more expensive, have been hardest hit. Though it isn't the same story everywhere, we have actually seen property prices in Adelaide and Perth continue to rise a bit.
Yeah, Sydney, I think, is down about 1.5% since its peak in February. Melbourne down about 1.8%. So are you expecting those two markets to really keep falling for the rest of this year?
We do expect to see further declines, and the main reason for that is that we don't think that the Reserve Bank has finished raising interest rates. It's generally expected that they're going to push them up even further at next week's meeting, and we're looking at the barrel of several more rate rises by the end of the year.
Yeah, we're just looking at some images on the screen now of various cities around Australia, and it looks to me that there's bigger price growth in the outer suburbs compared to those inner city areas. Is that sort of a trend that you've noticed around the country?
Yeah, it's not a new trend. We really started to see it take off during COVID with a lot of people looking to those outer lifestyle suburbs. I think the fact that property is a little bit more affordable, generally speaking, in outer areas as well, is drawing in more buyers, particularly first home buyers.
Yeah, you mentioned property prices in Adelaide and Hobart still going up. So what's the sort of big difference between those markets and Sydney and Melbourne, which are now in decline?
I think key to the fact is that these markets are a bit more affordable. In fact, they're actually a lot more affordable. So you can pick up a house and land in Adelaide or Perth for less than the cost of a unit in Melbourne and Sydney. And I think for, a lot of property investors as well, they're seeing that actually rental yields are higher in markets like Adelaide and Perth as well. And we've actually seen a marked increase in the number of buyers located in Victoria and New South Wales starting to search to buy property in those states in Western Australia and South Australia.
So those people from Victoria, New South Wales that are looking to buy homes in other places around the country, would that be for an investment or are they looking for a sea change to move somewhere else?
We think it's driven predominantly by investors. One reason for that is that we haven't seen, a big population shift in those markets. So if you are a property investor, there is actually a lot going. Rents are growing. That's very appealing. Vacancy rates are quite low. And the fact that you can pick up a house and land in those markets for, less than it's going to cost you to buy a unit in your home state, I think that there's a lot to convince investors there.
And just sort of looking overall at the market, we see property prices fallen slightly in June across the whole of Australia. But what's the outlook for prices for the rest of this year across the country?
Across the country, we would expect to see declines. With interest rates rising, it costs more to borrow. If it costs more to borrow, people can't borrow as much. And of course, that means that they can't spend as much on their properties.
Well, Flaherty, Economist at REA Group, thank you for coming on the program today.